which kind of sapling was it. He showed me the one, the green, and anyway, I do that, and then from there on we had hot bully beef, and everyone wanted me fight to eat their bully beef. As it says, the fuzzy was the angel of which they were. Yeah, definitely ain't. Yeah. All the wounded depended on them, everyone. Yeah. No, it's really good. They looked after them like if they was medical team, you know. Bert Burrice, a mate of mine, when they were just sitting there and with Bert, and these they just bringing a lot of the wounded back, and Bert said something, ain't they blokes angels or something, so I forget what it was. I said, yeah, real fuzzy was the angels. That's how he wrote the poem. There. Yeah, fuzzy was the angel. Without them, we would never won the war. Never.
My name is Phil Joyce, and in September of 2005 I walked the Kokoda track. This is something I've always wanted to do for a long time. My dad was on the Kokoda track during the World War II. He was with the engineers and actually had to build a lot of the infrastructure to get the troops through. So I mentioned it to my mate Les Ryder, and so we decided off we'd go. We'd join up with the crew and off we went. Bit of irony of it all was Dad hurt his knee trying to get some equipment down to the Goldie River, which is the first stage of the track these days. And my bad knee, as I had, got bad going down that hill and up the next one. They wanted to send Dad back to Port Moresby when he hurt his leg, and he wouldn't do it, so I thought, well, in this day and age I've got a helicopter can fly in and get me, but it wouldn't be the right thing, would it? One of the most emotional parts of walking the Kokoda track was the memorial at Isaravu. Just reading all the plaques, etc. there, taking the time just to look around and an appreciation of what the guys did. So it's an enlightening experience, actually. When you think your father was 21 years old doing this, and I got emotional about it at 50, so it makes you give you a good appreciation, and it's a pity we didn't know these things when we was kids. We might have looked at it a bit different towards our parents. After we left the memorial, you know, there's a fair slog still to go to get to Kokoda, and then we get to Kokoda and fly out. Dad and the guys back then, they didn't have that luxury. They went from Kokoda right on down to the sea, so you take your hat off to these guys and just look back and think, gee, if I was 21, could I have done that? I don't think so.
And walking the Kokoda track has become a pilgrimage for many Australians of all ages. Now, they called it the Beacon of Hope. The lighthouse at Cape Otway is the oldest on the Australian mainland, and its warning lights saved thousands of immigrants to Australia from being shipwrecked, a fate that befell 180 ships on this treacherous coast.
We're at Cape Otway Light Station, and it's the most significant light station in Australia, simply because all the ships coming from North America and Northern Europe, this would be their first landfall. They travelled 20,000 kilometres, maybe 3, 4, 5 months at sea, and it was the longest journey an immigrant could take. You couldn't take a longer journey any time or anywhere in the world.
And how many ships used to go past here?
Well, in the height of the gold rush, just after the 1850s, there was over 100 ships a day coming through here, and they were traders as well as clipper ships bringing gold seekers coming to Australia for seeking their fortune. Well, it was built in 1848, but it took 2 years to build, so they're here from 1846 to 1848 to put it all in. It's all solid sandstone.
How thick are the walls?
Well, about 1.5 metres thick here, but they get gradually less as we go up.
How many steps?
78.
Pretty crowded in here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of space.
What was the life of the lighthouse keeper like?
Well, it was very labour intensive up in the lantern room here. There'd be three keepers working 4-hour shifts, and their first job would be to wind up the weights. In this grey box was a series of gears and cogs, and they'd wind up the weights on the chains, and they would lower down just like a giant clock and rotate the lens. They'd also have to do things like regulate the airflow. These brass air vents would be tweaked and adjusted all night to make sure they had the right amount of oxygen coming into the lantern room, especially when it was burning kerosene, because originally it was whale oil and then it was kerosene.
And it was really important that they did everything properly. Lives depended on it.